There wasn't a fight. That's what unsettled me most. No slammed doors, no final argument dramatic enough to justify departure. Just a month of being slowly edited out of my own life. Dinner conversations rerouted around me. Plans made without asking. Questions answered with distracted nods. My presence felt procedural. Necessary in theory, irrelevant in practice. First, I told myself she was overwhelmed. Work, stress, routine. Then one night I realized I hadn't been really looked at in weeks. So I stopped speaking first. Stopped filling silence. Stopped offering solutions no one wanted. The silence held. After 31 days, I packed a suitcase. I left a note that said I needed air. I didn't accuse her of anything, beg. I just removed myself from the room where I had already disappeared. The first year alone was not empowering, was disorienting. I kept replaying moments, trying to find the exact day I became optional. Wondered if I had been too quiet for too long, too predictable, too available. I almost went back twice. Instead, signed up for certification courses I'd postponed for years. I took freelance work at night. I downsized, learned how to cook for one without resenting the empty chair. Therapy was the hardest admission. Not because I was broken, because I didn't know who I was outside of being someone's husband. My daughter called regularly, built something steady and neutral. I never spoke badly about her mother. I refused to turn her into a bridge or a battlefield. Years passed, not dramatically, gradually. My work expanded. A small consultancy turned into a firm. I became known not for brilliance, but for reliability, for solving problems without noise, for stepping into rooms and stabilizing them. The confidence that grew wasn't loud. It was architectural. Internal beams reinforced one by one. Then the invitation arrived, cream envelope, formal script. My daughter's name printed beside a man I'd never met. At the bottom, both signatures. Her handwriting was unchanged. I sat with it for an hour before opening it fully. The wedding was local, elegant venue. My daughter had added a short note inside. I hope you'll walk me down the aisle. No mention of the years. No reference to the silence. Immediately, the venue was modern glass and stone overlooking the river. I arrived early. Tailored suit, gray at my temples now, deliberate. People recognized me before I reached the entrance. Mr. Rahman, we're grateful for your support. One of the event coordinators said, extending a hand. I nodded. My daughter had approached me months earlier, quietly. She'd wanted help covering a portion of the venue costs so the guest list wouldn't have to shrink. I agreed on one condition: discretion. Apparently, discretion has limits. Near the entrance stood a polished plaque listing principal sponsors. My company name etched cleanly in silver. I hadn't requested it. When the coordinator asked where I preferred the branding backdrop positioned for photographs, I said simply, where it fits best. Need to direct the room. It was already moving in response. That's when I saw her. She was speaking to relatives, posture composed, expression curated. She followed the coordinator's gesture toward me. Her eyes paused, not in shock, recalculation. It wasn't the suit. It wasn't the plaque. It was the way people deferred slightly when they addressed me, the way decisions paused for my input. She approached after a few minutes. You look well, she said. So do you. There were 1,000 unsaid sentences between us. Accusations that had aged into irrelevance. Realize you were involved in this, she said, glancing toward the entrance. Our daughter asked. I replied. I was glad to help. A nod, small, controlled. For a moment, I saw it, the recognition that the man who left quietly had not vanished. He had redirected. I'm glad you came, she added. I always would have. No hostility, no reconciliation either. When my daughter found me, she didn't mention the plaque or the sponsorship. She just squeezed my arm and whispered, "Thank you for showing up." That mattered more. Walking her down the aisle, I felt no need to prove anything. The music swelled, guests rose, cameras flashed. I was present, not performing. After the ceremony, I congratulated the couple, posed for photographs, spoke briefly with a few former acquaintances who seemed surprised to see me where I stood. I left before the final dance, no dramatic exit, just a quiet departure like before, but this time chosen from fullness, not absence. In the parking lot, sat in my car for a moment. Years ago, I left because being ignored made me feel small. Tonight, left because I no longer needed to be seen to know my size. The silence that once erased me had forced me to build something internal and immovable. We never resolved what happened between us. We never will. But I am no longer waiting in rooms that pretend not to notice I'm there. And that is enough.